thought that I would dedicate this particular video to some of your most pressing questions. Um, Gosh, I get a lot of them, hundreds of them every day. So every now and then I figured that I would do a video where I answer some of the more consistent kind of questions, or questions that I think would interest a great deal of you guys. Many of you kind of pick up that I kind of hold back, especially those of us who are very perceptive. You pick up that I kind of hold back on the information that I share in many of my videos, and you guys are absolutely right. I do hold back, and let me tell you why I tend to hold back on certain things. Number one, sometimes I share things in just because there's more of the information that's for me specifically. Then there are other times I hold back because I feel like it's just not time to openly share certain things. And then the third reason why I tend to hold back is because I like to provoke thought. I like to put it out just enough to get people's wheels turning and inspire them to dig deeper and come to their own conclusion. I'm not really one of those people that like to define everything that I say or try to convince you of my own conclusion of what I present. One of the things I will come right out and say is that I am in communication with our ancestors. One of the more recent interaction that I've had with our cosmic ancestors is confirming that they are here. They are all around the earth in their light ships or starships, and they have begun communicating to those of us who are receptive and open to the interaction. What do I mean by receptive and open to the interaction? Those of us who are not confined and boxed in rigid belief systems and fear. The ancestors, they love us unconditionally. Like I said, those of us who have memory of being in their presence, they truly love us unconditionally. Can you imagine loving a murderer, a rapist, someone who would do things that many of us would have a strong, profound judgment about? Can you imagine loving them as much as you would a saint? That's the kind of love I'm talking about. They see all of who we are, but they still love us unconditionally, and you feel that love. At the same time, they are very practical and they do not play. When it's time to handle business, they handle business. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. So the way they handle interacting with us is on a case-by-case basis. If we've put forth the effort and opened ourselves up and demonstrated a certain level of nobility and humbleness. So to say, or when it's all said and done, they have begun reaching out, communicating with us. They are telepathically communicating with those of us who have raised our vibration and expanded our consciousness or receptive to them. They visit us in the dream state, and yes, they are projecting their aspect of their soul consciousness into the astral plane. As a matter of fact, quite a few of them are in the astral realm doing some serious work, y'all. I mean, I'm telling you, they're working to clean some things up. So that's one thing that I want you guys to know. So when you look up in the clouds, some of us can see these starships. I can see them. I know when they're there. My sister and I, we were hanging out the other day, and we could see them clear as day. They cloak themselves behind clouds and I can see them clear as day. I feel their presence. I feel their energy. And many of you who are perceptive and have your antennas up, you know what I'm talking about. The other thing that I get, or I've gotten many emails or inquiries about, is the presidential election. Some of you guys are saying that you have been reading and hearing from inside sources that there won't be an election, there will be martial law, and there may be this or that. And I'm going to say I don't usually do predictions. I don't think I've done any predictions on camera, but I'm going to make an exception in this case. And it's based off of the energy where we are now, the trajectory right now, and based on what I feel, and I've been saying it for a while, there will be an election. And for better or worse, the president we have in office now will be re-elected, will be chosen. I'm just being silly. Sometimes, we may not understand it, but one day we all will. Sometimes things happen for the greater good, even though it may not seem like it from the perspective that we're on. Some things just have to play out. And that's all I'm going to say about that. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is I did a video about a month, maybe 2 months ago. In the video, I said that I was addressing the question about astral projection. Is astral projection the soul leaving the body? And I said, yes, for those of us who have a soul, yes, you can call it a form of soul. An aspect or a piece of our soul actually goes out. And then those of us who have the option of traveling by spirit, by a conscious bubble, there are different means in which we can travel. And I also said there are those who don't have a soul who can astral project. Now, I know everyone is not going to be in agreement with this, but based off of the revelations that I've gotten and what I remember on a soul level, every being on earth does not have a soul. Have asked, what is the difference between those who have a soul and those who don't? And I'm going to try to find the most simplified way of explaining this. Those of us who have souls, we are co-creator gods, and those without a soul are creations. They are of our creation. They are of our creation. And this is the irony, that many of us who are co-creator gods and have souls, many of us are subjugating or being subjugated by our own creations. That's the irony. They would not have life if it were not for us. Think about that. Those without souls do not have the connection to source in the same way, and they do not have the ingenuity or the mind to create something out of nothing. They have to piggyback and feed off of and exist. They're like parasites more than anything, and they can only exist through feeding off of or riding or stealing or exploiting the creations of others, or manipulating and deceiving those who have the power to create, those who have souls who have the power to create, like the source or the prime creator or the Almighty. They use and harness their power to exist. That's the most simplest way in which I can explain this. Now, who are the specific beings that I'm talking about? And I don't want to get into this race thing or what have you, but I would just define it by character. These beings tend to be very, very material. They don't have a personality. They are very cold. You look them in the eyes, there's no what appears to be any light or life there. They're spirit beings. They're spirit, and they do live on, and they have the potential for eternal life, but that's only through the power of those of us who are creator gods, or the source, him, her, itself. So this is why I'm always saying we have to realize and wake up to how powerful many of us really are, and that being in fear of beings who are soulless is so counterproductive and so funny when you think about it. It is so ironic. Why be afraid of beings who cannot even exist without someone who has what you had? And the irony is that there are beings who don't even have what you have that know more about you than you know about yourself. And yes, some of that is because we are in a collective state of amnesia. A lot of it is because we have fallen, because we've broken divine laws and covenants. Some of us are here because we agreed to forget, because we have to abide by the laws of this land. We cannot bring our powers and our knowledge here and disrupt this reality and the other dimensional realms. But when it's all said and done, if you have a soul, you are a god in your own right, not to be mistaken for the Almighty One, Prime Source Creator, or however you want to define it. And that's pretty much it. As always, you are so loved beyond measure. The family loves us beyond measure. Continue to question, learn, and grow. And as always, happy travels.